Hey skiers, it's Bob with skiessentials.com. Welcome to our 2024 ski test. We've got a Line Sakana for you today. New paint job on this, looks absolutely phenomenal. Otherwise stays the same. Unique ski that we've seen in the past. Really difficult to put this thing into a box, kind of stands on its own, not only in Line's category, Line's catalog, but the ski industry as a whole. Which I think is a pretty impressive feat. Line does a great job at making skis differently, so it's not a surprise that if it's a unique line, it's going to be unique from an industry standpoint, but regardless, very interesting to see what they can come up with from using their creativity and construction and shaping to make something that at 105 underfoot with a 150 meter shovel and a 15 meter turn radius and a swallowtail, making it behave like it does is, I think, one of the more impressive things out there these days. We are built with their partly cloudy wood core, which consists of a blend of paulownia and maple. Paulownia is light, but it's also pretty stiff, and then maple's pretty strong. So they have a nice kind of mix of attributes between those woods that give this ski kind of enough stability and dampness when it's used in more aggressive carving mentality. And then that paulownia, which kind of makes it just a little bit lighter and more accessible while providing a bunch of energy to the mix as well. So pretty standard stuff in terms of the core, and then we get their carbon flax tape throughout the ski here. So mixing that carbon in a flax tape really just goes a long way in stiffening and providing even more energy to the mix. The big thing with the swallowtail is, that it's part of both construction and shaping. Basically from where it starts, there's a pretty thick metal laminate kind of embedded into the tail here. So when you kind of twist these tail fins, it's actually really stiff. This is different than like their Pescado, which does not have metal in the tail, has a big swallowtail. And those fins are very much more movable and flexible. And that's going to give the ski more kind of, the ability to change directions easier, more agility in softer snow, whereas this is going to be more rigid. And, when we're using it in softer snow, that's going to, at least the swallowtail helps to kind of diffuse the underfoot or the under the tail portions of that deep snow. When you're on firmer snow, it basically makes a longer effective edge and gives you better carving control out of the turn. It's very difficult to describe the ski overall, so bear with me here, but really interesting stuff going on with the tail, both from that shaping and construction perspective. But it is metal, it is durable. There's a lot to like about the way that tail is both shaped and built. And then we kind of take a look at this huge 150 millimeter shovel here, which does a great job at initiating the turns. Anytime that you're getting something really wide like that, you might think it's going to lose torsional stiffness. I think one of the keys here is skiing this thing a little bit shorter. So this is the 174, and I think I would be more comfortable on this. This is the only one I've skied. I haven't skied the 181, but even so, I feel like this 174 makes a lot of sense given the shape. If that tip gets a little bit too far out from under your feet, it's going to lose a little bit of that torsional stiffness. Makes it harder to get up on edge, but as it is in the 174, it's just a little bit closer and just easier. Not a lot of late taper. There's some of that early taper making it smoother, but you got to kind of take advantage of your effective edge on these shorter and wider skis. So not a ton of dramatic taper, and then not a whole lot of splay either. They keep it pretty low profile just to make sure that it's, that it's in contact with the snow for longer. And then kind of hard to describe whether there's rocker in the tail or not, but yeah, there's some bend in those fins. So, when you're in a carved turn, it's going to hook in, but when you're riding flat, it's not really touching all that much. And then that 15 meter turn radius just really comes to life. It's equally as fun to try to find that turn shape as it is to let it run a little bit straighter and longer. You know, with something this wide, it's hard to make it behave like a slalom ski. So you've got to kind of play around with it and find its center and find how hard you can push it before you find that shorter arc. But overall, it's one of the most unique and just pleasant ski experiences out there. Tons of versatility, you know, from soft snow, powder, trees, all the way to groomers. You know, for a 105 underfoot, it carves insanely well. Not a ton of like mogul and tight technical zone properties here, but you know, since it's short, you can make it do those things. But overall, totally different than most anything else out there. If you're interested in this totally unique ski experience, make sure you check out this line Sakana here at skiessentials.com, and we'll see you out there on the hill. Bye.